All right, guys, so here we are for example 2. So example 2 says the total number of shares of stock in the Bulls Corporation is 650,000. Mike owns 12% of the shares. How many shares of Bulls Corporation stock does he own? So the first thing that we need to do is we know that he owns 12% of those shares. And we need to make that into a fraction. So we need to write a fraction. So generally fractions are always out of 100%. So if Mike owns 12%, that means he owns 12 out of 100. So we would put 12 over 100. The next step that we need to take is we need to write a proportion. So we have our fraction from up here. So we have 12 over 100. And then we need to set that equal to something. So we are looking for the number of shares Mike owns. So we're going to put a variable in place of that. So we're going to use X. And we know that there's a total of 650,000 shares. So our denominator is going to be 650,000. The next thing that we have to do is we have to cross multiply, which means we have to take 100 times X, and we have to take 12 times 650,000. 100 times X is just equal to 100X, and then you would take 12 times 650,000. When we put it in parentheses like that, that's telling us that we need to multiply. So now you're going to find the product, which is like finding the answer. So you have 100x is equal to 7,800,000 because we multiplied 12 times 650,000, and that's what got us 7,800,000. So now we need to get x all by itself. So we need to divide both sides by 100. So we need to take 100x divided by 100, and we need to take 7,800,000 and also divide that by 100. So when we divide these numbers, 100x divided by 100, the 100s actually cancel each other out. So then we are left with x equals, and then in your calculator, you should have typed in 7,800,000 divided by 100. Should have gotten you 78,000. So what that means is Mike owns 78,000 shares of Bulls Corporation. 78,000 shares of Bulls Corporation.